By Dr. Syed Husain of Trinity Health of New England. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, too.
And glad to have you here. Boy, we have a lot of sort of dense topics to talk about. I hope we have time. First of all, the Food and Drug Administration just cleared its first CRISPR-based medicine called Casgevy to be used for a second type of blood disorder, something called Beta Thalassemia, which is rare. I want to talk a little bit about that, but I think we need to tell people what CRISPR-based medicine is and why it's so revolutionary.
In one word, it's the future.
Yeah.
This is very exciting, Tim. Viewers may recall the FDA lent approval for this type of therapy to be used as treatment for sickle cell disease in December. So this is the second approved use now of the same medication. Basically what happens here is a patient's stem cell is modified using this tool. It's a gene editing tool where then those cells that are now modified are transplanted back into the patient's body. The hope is, the premise, not hope, the premise is that it will now generate normal blood cells.
Yeah.
So that the oxygen carrying capacity of blood in patients who do have these conditions is not compromised.
Is it safe to say it's kind of editing out the bad mutation,
That's
replacing it with a healthy one, and then just letting it proliferate back in the body?
There you go. Even better than me.
Oh, come on. That might really be the future. And like you said, two different blood disorders, curious to see what else they could use for that. And it's very, very precise. They're just editing like just one little part of the genome.
Exactly.
All right, on to not so good news. Here we go again. Another measles outbreak, this time in Philadelphia. 11 known cases popping up at an airport. And not at all surprised that I guess the key person here was not vaccinated. What do we need to know about this?
So this is disappointing news. We've actually slid in this arena, Tim. So in 2000, we were actually measles-free in the U.S.
Yeah.
Since then, we've had a number of outbreaks across the country, mostly in the Northeast. All 8 children who have come down with measles in the Philadelphia area are unvaccinated.
Yeah.
We also know, based on what has happened over the past few years during the course of the pandemic, that immunization schedules for children have lagged.
Yep.
So it's important. A take-home message here for parents is, please make sure your child is up to date with vaccinations and their immunization schedule overall.
And with measles, there's just so little room for error. I believe it's
almost none. It's so contagious.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 children who are exposed, and if they're unvaccinated, will come down with measles.
It's more contagious than COVID. And
Absolutely.
COVID's one of the most contagious viruses
absolutely.
we've seen. Measles will spread like wildfire if given even a sliver of an opportunity, and that's what happened. Okay, lastly, the Food and Drug Administration had some scientists who did some research, and they say that research supports reclassifying marijuana as a Schedule III drug, which is down from a Schedule I drug. Schedule III drugs are more like Tylenol, whereas Schedule I drugs are more like heroin. Right. So what is the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, this is because there's a new review being done by the FDA that basically says that the reason why they are advocating for this change, Tim, is because there's a low abuse potential based on studies, based on research. There is limited medical use for marijuana, especially in patients who are undergoing chemotherapy, to alleviate nausea, vomiting, anorexia, pain in those cancer patients.
Yeah.
So low dependence, low abuse potential will all hopefully make this drug a Class 3. There is wide use. There are multiple states within the union that have actually already authorized or legalized the use of marijuana.
Yes.
But on a federal level, it still remains a very restricted drug.
Yeah. Would this, I guess, would be another step towards changing that?
It's not the final step. Great point. It goes to the DEA from here. It'll be open for public comment. So there's a long road ahead. It's not the only step, but it's one step in the process.
Yeah, I guess if nothing else, this highlights just that there hasn't been probably as much research behind the effects of marijuana, both good and bad, because it was a Schedule I drug for so long that we're just starting to see a lot more of that now, at least in terms of the research.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Dr. Husain, thank you so much. We got to it all.
Yes,
that was, like we said, a lot. Talking about CRISPR, measles, marijuana. It's a lot to get to, a lot for you guys to learn on this Wednesday morning. And once again, Dr. Husain, thank you for giving us that quick primer on all that, Erica. Let's send it over to you.